who are you as a brand? So more like, let's say your brand is a person. Let's say your brand is a human being. And so, who is this person called your brand? Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel again this week. I am so excited to have you guys again, and thank you guys for always coming to watch my videos. If you are new to my channel, I'd like to say to you, thank you for stopping by to watch this video, and I really hope you enjoy it and learn a thing or two from it. And so if you remember, last week we started a series, and it was all about information that you need to know before starting out a fashion brand. Starting a fashion brand can be very interesting, and you know, like I said last week, there's so much glamour in the industry, and so everybody may just, you know, want to jump into starting a clothing line and stuff like that. But there are other things you really need to consider before even starting out to build a brand. You have to ensure that you do a lot of underground work, more like, you know, building a solid foundation on which to build the whole brand. And so today we're going to go to the second episode, right? And so this week we're going to be looking at how to define your business strategy, more like the whole operational plans, how you intend to carry the operations of your brand. So I mean, it is very good to think about the designs you want to make, the kind of people you want to work with. Remember last week we talked about carving out your niche, like building a niche, looking for people that you want to serve, looking out for the problems that they have, and how you want to solve it, looking at the solutions that are already in the market, and then, you know, looking at how you can go, you know, a bit further with your own brand to see how you can, you know, make it a better product for them. But as much as all that is good, you also have to define a strong business strategy. So now you want to really determine how you are going to be manufacturing your collection, your designs and stuff like that. Are you going to be doing an in-house production, or you're going to be sourcing out to production factories and stuff like that? And then if you intend to produce or manufacture in-house, then you have to start thinking about the kind of skill sets you would need, more like the kind of employees you're going to employ to make these clothes, and you know, how you intend to pay them. Do you want to pay them salaries, or you want to pay them per clothes or per hour and stuff like that? You have to, you know, really map out all that. Those are really strategic things you want to you know, finalize at the very beginning. So if you're considering outsourcing your production, more like using production companies and people that take off that stress from you, they produce it, put on your tags, your labels, and deliver it to you according to how you want it, then you want to start considering which of those companies fit into your vision and select them. And when looking out for this kind of companies and knowing fully well that this is your model, this is how you intend to operate, you don't just want to look out for the short-term situation. You have to consider a long-term relationship with them. And so you want to be very careful looking at who you are going to work with on this. So search and find out in fact, there are so many of them, countless options. So you search carefully and select who you intend to go on this journey together. Secondly, you want to map out your pricing. So you want to figure out where exactly you are, I mean the positioning of your brand according to pricing. So are you going to be a luxury brand? Are you going to be a premium brand? Are you going to be an affordable brand, or you're going to be mass market? This is the time for you to think about that and finalize. And one very important thing you need to know at this stage is to go back to your niche, looking at the people you want to serve. So you want to look at them, what are their income earning situation, how much are they earning. So that will be a very instrumental key to fixing your price point. And then you also want to look out for your competitors, people who are doing what you want to do, and look at their price range. Look at how much they are pricing theirs. So you don't want to set your own price too high in such a way that, you know, people will be like, oh no, I can't afford it. And you don't want to go too low in such a way that people who you're targeting will be like, oh nah, it's not talking to me. So basically you want to ensure that you're just on point. So you have to figure out that at this point. So The third thing you want to consider while defining your business model is your distribution strategy. So how do you intend to move your fashion pieces from point A, that is you, to point, let's say Z, because the final users are going to be like the consumer. So point Z, the consumers. How do you intend to move it from you, the owner of the brand, to the people you intend to serve? So some fashion brands use online platforms, e-commerce, via their own personal websites. They put their clothes there for people to come over to buy, and some others prefer to use popular e-platforms to push their product. So it's left for you to figure out which e-platform you're going to put your product. Okay, remember I said when looking out for who to manufacture with, that's for those who are considering outsourcing. You have to look at long term, and then looking at your brand vision and stuff like that, ensuring that the manufacturers are in line with who you are as a brand. So it is for picking an e-commerce platform. So if you're not going to be using your own personal brand website, you want to look out for e-commerce platforms that are in line with your brand. So for example, if you're a luxury brand and your target audience are people who are very, very concerned about exclusivity, they don't want to see their pieces everywhere, you don't want to put your products on an e-commerce platform that has a lot of mass products. That would more like harm your brand badly. So you want to be very, very strategic. You want to look for luxury brand platforms to position yourself there. So everything you are going to be doing at this point, you have to consider the long-term goals of your brand. So number 4, you want to consider your brand identity at this point. You want to fully map out your brand identity. So who are you as a brand? So more like, let's say your brand is a person. Let's say your brand is a human being. And so who is this person called your brand, right? So what are the attributes of your brand? What are the characteristics of your brand? What is your brand going to do for the customers? So what are the things about your brand that are going to separate you from a competition? So it's at this point you really, really want to map out. When we talk about brand, of course, we're going to be looking at the symbols, the brand logo, brand colors, and stuff like that. Those are all part of the branding. More like the physical attributes of the brand. But much more, you also want to look at what are your core values as a brand also. This will actually go a long way in helping you, relate with your customers at the long run. So everything about who you are as a brand is very, very important to be figured out at this point, just before you start your brand. Also, you want to figure out your marketing strategy. So how do you intend to tell people about your products? How do you intend to tell people that, oh, I have a brand, I have a product, I want to serve you? So going back to our niche video. By the way, if you haven't seen the video, I'm just going to put it here.
I now know. I know where it's gonna be. It's gonna be here. So I'm gonna put it here. So you just click and watch after this. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it here so you just watch it. So going back to the niche, you want to find out how to communicate with these customers. So remember, you have already figured out who your customers are. You've carved a niche for your brand. So right now is to find ways to communicate with them. Remember last week I told you that the best way to talk to anybody you want to serve is to make them feel like you are talking to them directly. So you want to find out what their problems are, and then you want to put the solution, you want to push it to their faces that, hey guys, here you go, your solution. So you really want to figure out how you intend to communicate with your target audience. And so you have to be very strategic in your marketing communication. Also, at this point, you want to figure out where to get your raw materials, where to source for your raw materials. And for companies or fashion brands who find it seamless to get raw materials, it's because most of them have taken time to build solid, good relationship with most of the sourcing companies. And so it's usually easier for them to, request. And then most times, these people know their preferences, and so they just deliver what exactly they want. So you want to find a very good sourcing agency or a sourcing company. And when I mean sourcing company, if it's fabrics, you want to look for a very good fabric seller. If it is zippers, you want to look for a good zippers seller. And the threads, all your linings and stuff like that, you want to look out for people who are selling good ones, people who understand the kind of quality you want, based on the kind of brand you want to build. Now that you have found where to get your raw materials, you also want to figure out everything about logistics, how it's going to be delivered to you, how it's going to move from their points, your points, who's going to pay for what. If you're going to go to the market or to their stores to get it, then you have to figure out how much it's going to cost you. See, everything you do while running your brand, you have to be very sure you're planning how much you're spending, because you really want to know how much is going out and to where it is going to. So you want to ensure that, okay, how much is it to get from my point to their point to pick up fabrics? If they're going to be delivering, how much is it going to cost to move from them to here, and stuff like that. You really want to figure out all that at this point. Trust me, starting a clothing line is not one of those things you can just wake up one day and say, I want to start a fashion line, and then you just start, and then it just goes that way. No, you want to ensure that you plan well, so that while running the brand, you're sure that you're doing things the right way. So at this point, just before you start, you really want to figure out all these things at this point, because you don't want to start and then maybe along the line you just realize that I didn't get the right raw material source, and then you're out of fabrics, and then maybe by then some customers have already seen your product and they're like, nice, and then they're placing orders, and you're like, I'm sorry, we don't have fabrics. That's going to hurt your brand so bad. So you want to take your time, plan well before launching out. So okay guys, I hope you have been able to learn one or two things that can be useful for you when it comes to defining your business model or your business strategy. Please let me know in the comment section if you found this very useful, and if you have any questions, please put it for me in the comments section, and I'll try my best to answer it all. Thank you so much for watching my video again this week, and until next week, I'm gonna see you again. But if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. Please subscribe, and like the video and share to everybody that you think would need to see this content. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.